Hey, family. Welcome back to Blue Couch Chat. We weren't here yesterday because we had to take care of ourselves. Although I said I would show up no matter how I felt, I was a bit too tired and it would not have been good. So I'm back today, a lot more energized, a lot more happy. Hair looking good, feeling good, nails done. So yeah, so much better than I would have been yesterday. Um, this is the safe space where we get real, get raw, and talk about the things that too often stay bottled up. Before we dive in, let me share this. What I say here, what I say here is not medical or legal advice. I'm not your doctor, your therapist, or your lawyer. I'm just someone on this journey, sharing what I've learned, lived, and continue to struggle through. Please take what serves you, leave what doesn't, and always seek out professional guidance for your unique situation. Now let's get into it. Drop in the chat where you're tuning in from tonight and let us know how you're showing up today. Good, bad, or in between. This is your safe space too. What's most important is that we show up and we're here, especially for each other, not just for ourselves. So he's not just my bestie. You can see him right here. I brought him on early so he could join us from the beginning.
I wasn't ready for that. I was like, what's going on here? But it's okay. It's all good.
We're doing a little different tonight. So drop in the chat where you're tuning in from tonight and let us know how you're showing up today. Good, bad, or in between. This is your safe space too. That's why I created it. And as I said, my special guest tonight is not just my bestie. He's also my bruh fam. He's a cancer survivor, a thriver, a storyteller, and the host of Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer, a show I had the honor to co-host. Tonight, we're diving into his journey, his heart, and his mission, as well as his perspectives. Tim, for those who don't know, can you share a little about your own cancer journey and what led you to start Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me, Shannon. It's awesome to be here. A little bit about my story. Almost 19 years ago, I was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia, which is a blood cancer. I had some purple bruises on my legs. I went to my primary care physician. He did blood work. He called me up pretty quickly and said, you need to go to the hospital now. Like, go, good, just go. So I went to the hospital and I was there for 4 days. And in that time period, they diagnosed me with chronic myeloid leukemia. And since it's a chronic cancer, it's a cancer I have to take medication for the rest of my life. And there's a lot of ups and downs. Sometimes I don't have cancer. Sometimes I do have cancer. Sometimes I have a small amount. Sometimes I have a larger amount. And I found that it's all about figuring out how to live in the moment, because you never know what could happen. So just, being intentional about figuring out ways to be happy and making an impact. So that's the nutshell version.
Well, I don't know how you got, 17 years you said, you got down into like 30 seconds.
Well, I'm pretty talented. I know. Thank you.
It's like an elevator pitch down. Like you can teach people, here's your elevator pitch, this is how you do it. So I know there's a lot more in between all of that. And, you said to live in the moment. And that is something that we get as cancer survivors. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of people in this world, especially those who are young like us, they really don't know that that's what life is about and how short and how fragile life is. Like, I know for both of us, our cancer, diagnoses, they were a total surprise. Like, we didn't look sick. We didn't really feel that sick. Like, and then it's just been a total like mind freak. I'm trying to be more professional. Since then, like, I'm now cancer free, thank God, but you never know if it could when it could come back, right? And I'm about to be 14 years, which is amazing, coming next month. But, it's you being a survivor for 17 years, and the way that you handle the waves really inspires me as your bestie. Like you really center me and remind me how blessed I am, because like my cancer was, yeah, all cancer is kind of invisible. You can't see it. Doctors can sometimes, but yours is really like invisible, like it's in your blood, right? So I
Literally.
always tell you, I'm like, it's such a mind freak for me. I can't imagine having a cancer that you can't see on a scan. You're just battling numbers. Like you're just going by numbers and blood levels. And I'm just like, I don't know how you do it. So how do you handle it so well?
I think a big part for me is having such incredible friends like you, Shannon, and so many other people from the showing up community, showing up perspectives on cancer community who
Mhm.
get me and we get each other. And for 15 years, I was diagnosed almost 19 years ago, and for 15 years, I kept my cancer diagnosis pretty much completely silent. Some extended family members knew, and a few friends, but not
Mhm.
barely anybody knew, and everything changed when I shared my story because I was able to connect with people who understood me to a certain extent. All of our journeys are different in
Mhm.
certain ways, but we've all heard the word something like you have cancer, or I have cancer, or leukemia, or colon cancer, whatever it is.
Right.
Um, and we all have different kind of struggles, whether it's physical struggles or mental health struggles or emotional struggles or whatever it is. But by sharing our stories, we can all come together. And man, I need the puffs. Did you bring the puffs? I'm like
I
getting.
don't even know where mine are either. I was just thinking
I
the
don't
same
either.
thing. I'm like, where did it
Uh,
go?
and my eczema. Look
Yeah,
at my eye. Look, everybody
I
get an up
can
close look at my
see
eye.
them, but I'm not gonna get up. It's okay. We'll be okay. I'll just
It's
cry my makeup off. I don't have much makeup, so it's okay. I'm not gonna worry about it. This is why we're live. We don't worry about things. We just do it as we go.
that's it.
Um, but I'm really inspired by you, Tim, and I know I say it all the time, but it's true. Like you really, I don't even know how to put it into words, just just how much you inspire me. Like you
Thank
you really
you.
inspire me, and you know, I I'm just amazed by how well you handle things, as I said. Like I've seen you go through the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows, and somehow you stay centered still. And I'm just like, okay, I would not be that calm if that was me. But
Yeah,
okay, So
yeah.
you make it easy to support you. I have to say that. You really do make it easy to support you as a friend, with how you handle but I guess you're a pro by now, right? You've been surfing the waves for 17 years. I mean, that's pretty close to 20. So, I mean,
I
I guess
mean,
you're
it's
a pro.
a long time, but things change over your journey.
Mhm.
Like for me as a chronic cancer survivor, warrior, whatever word, fill in the blank on the day.
Right,
There are ups and there are downs, and if I think I've been a lot more vulnerable in terms of the challenging parts of my cancer journey over the last year as compared to previously. And
right,
I think it's important to share that stuff publicly. You don't have to share everything, but it does help other people by being more vulnerable, even in the more challenging parts. And like I want to be hopeful and I am hopeful and I want to show that hopefulness for other people. But there are
right.
times over the last year that I haven't showed up. That I've definitely done less shows this year. There's been days that I have not wanted to do much of anything because of different, things going on in my life, cancer and
Right.
other things, different struggles. And I think the important part is just to, take the time that you need to sit in your whatever it is,
Mhm.
whatever you're dealing with. But then, it might take you a day, it might take you a week, it might take you whatever, but then get back up and try to focus on, what good you can do. Like, I love to, the shows and the events, the event coming up on October 3rd to 5th,
Right.
and I try to bury myself in projects that help other people,
Right.
as a way of dealing with my grief or whatever it is sometimes,
So I was like you, it didn't take me 15 years to share my story because I'm not 15 years in survivorship yet. But I was very private about my journey. Well, my family knew before me. That's a whole nother story. As you know, my family and family friends all knew before I did because I was so like knocked out with anesthesia and pain meds for a whole week that the doctors, I wasn't lucid enough for the doctors to even talk to me about my own cancer. So everyone knew before me. So it kind of took away like the way that you would normally process and decide how you want to tell people and all of that. So I didn't get that. But when it came to social media and all of that, I was very, very vague. And like only those who knew what I was going through knew what I was posting about. I'd be like, okay, round 1 of 12 done, 11 to go. And that's all I would say. And they didn't know, someone who didn't know wouldn't know. I had an ostomy. A lot of people, even if they knew I had cancer, they didn't know I had an ostomy. There was just a lot that I went through alone. And it was 3 years before I actually shared my story and decided to be an advocate. And now that I feel like it's my way of taking my pain and making it my purpose and using it to help other people. And now I've created, Blue Couch Chat, which you made it a lot easier for me to do this because co-hosting with you, I got some really good experience and mentorship from my bruh fam, to know how to do this and to be at ease in front of the camera, which normally I wouldn't be. And for this to become my happy place. And so, I just want to go to everybody who's watching so far, as you heard Tim's story and a little bit of mine, type one word in the chat that describes how it makes you feel. And Tim, when you started the show, did you imagine that it would grow into such a powerful community? Like, did you imagine that it would be where it is now?
No, when I started showing up, I had no idea if it would resonate. I had only started sharing my story in November of 2021. And I
Right.
created the show I started sharing my story in June of 2021, and I created the show in November of 2021.
Wow.
So I really had no idea, I took a shot at an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I had shared my story and I had received so much love and acceptance and caring and all these messages and comments after sharing my story publicly, first on Jenny Gold's show and then many other places since then.
Right.
And I wanted other people to be able to have a safe space to share their own stories because I knew from my experience sharing my story how it could impact other people, and also it also helped me as well by sharing my story and
Right.
connecting with other people by doing it. Does that make sense?
Right. It does. I think finding community and realizing that you're not alone and realizing that there are other people who get something that not many people get. They just get it. Like you meet and you don't even have to talk about your cancer because they already get that part, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
I think, that for me has been a game changer. And then kind of taking my own story and my long-term survivorship and helping people who are just diagnosed get through their journey, and teaching them how to advocate for themselves, especially, has been really like, helpful. It's made me feel like I have a purpose and like everything had a purpose, what I went through. But what is the most unexpected thing you've learned from other survivors and caregivers through hosting your show?
The most unexpected thing I've learned is you
Mhm.
never know when your guest is going to show up upside down on the screen.
We know who that is.
Ryan O'Sullivan, when he was on the show, somehow he managed to come on the screen upside down live from his car and I will never forget that moment. You're probably looking for something a little bit more deep, but that's a funny moment I had to share.
It is pretty deep. I mean, his whole world was upside down right before everybody's eyes. Were you
It
able to
was
get it right
so
side up?
hilarious. Oh my God.
Were you able to get it right side up by the end of the episode, or was the whole?
Yeah, somehow he was able to do it from his, I don't know how, but yeah, but also it just shows you when you're doing live that sometimes things happen and you just have to laugh through them. Luckily, Brian O'Sullivan has a great sense of humor and he laughed through it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have guests that might not be like that. So I'm grateful it was Brian O'Sullivan. Shout out to Brian, by the way.
Shout out,
Brian.
Brian. I love you. So, we both know that there's a difference between surviving and living, right? So, how has storytelling helped you reclaim your life?
Oh, it's changed everything. I mean, I've had so many conversations with other patients, survivors, and supporters, and they have just inspired me to not wait, to live my life now, I've been going to therapy for a few years, and that's made me a much more self-aware person and has helped me through different decisions over time. And storytelling is just, like I was saying before, it connects you with other people, but I think it also helps you reflect on yourself also when you have conversations with other people afterwards. You think about, their stories and maybe like what are similarities to yours or not, or like what could I learn from them and things like that.
Right.
Have you seen that also through your show, Bro
I
Fam?
mean, through my show, I never thought that I am where I am with it so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I've struggled so much with consistency because of, my mental health issues and just lifing,
Yep.
and
Get it.
and having to figure out how to surf rough water, and I'm just like a beginner surfer. So it's been a surprise as to how far it's gotten, but I think what helped me was that I already had such a space in the community when I started this, in the
Mm-hmm.
colorectal cancer community, that it was so easy because I already, like, on my personal page, I already had like 1.5 thousand friends.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I already had a following that I had built by being so active in the advocacy world. So I think that really helped me a lot. And then, of course, being on your show and like learning so much. And then also like having Lee support me, although, he was only on one episode, but just knowing that he pushed me so hard, even in the end, he pushed me so hard to do this. Like, he was the whole reason why this has happened. And I've just been really lucky to have him as a mentor and have so many people support me. And it's crazy because it's like, even when I withdraw and I don't realize that I withdraw, people check on me. People have the police literally show up at my mom's house's door, like my mom's door, asking if I'm okay, and I don't even live there. you know and she's
I
like,
know.
she's calling me and she's like, did you do something? Are you supposed to be arrested? The police are here. And I'm like, I haven't done anything, Mom, not that I know of.
Uh,
So, it's kind of funny, but yeah, I'm really proud of where both of us are, and I'm really glad that I met you. I mean, that's also through Lee. I mean, if I wasn't at showing at Podfest my first year there, I met you at Podfest. You're one of the first people I met, and we just hit it off. And like, you're really my bestie, and you've seen me through so many ups and downs and sideways and overs and unders and roundabouts, and whirlwinds and twisters and all kinds of stuff, hurricanes, that literally and figuratively, that I
right.
don't know where I would be without you and without showing up. Like, showing up help Blue Couch Chat be where it is and help me be able to build it to where it is. So I'm just really grateful for you, your friendship, your partnership. I wouldn't even call it mentorship. Like, we're partners in crime. You know, like I missed having you on here. Like I've missed you. It feels so good having you back on screen with me, you know?
Yeah.
But
And I just want to say how proud I am of you. I mean, you've grown so much since I met you randomly at Podfest, whatever year that was, when we just bumped into each other. And
right.
you had mentioned Trevor from Man Up to Cancer, and I was able to go to one day of their in-person event the other day and actually meet him in person, which I hadn't done until
Oh,
the
you
other day.
hadn't?
No.
Isn't he amazing?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to talk to him that long, but I saw him and I met Boyd Dunleavy, who he was part of my 24-hour live stream fundraiser. Like,
Right.
I think it was 2022. And I met Tim McDonald for the first time.
Isn't
And I met
Tim
this,
awesome? Isn't the other Tim awesome?
yeah, I got a picture with him. We always call each other fellow Tims. So I
Tim
got to
1, Tim 2.
see him. And I had this great conversation with this guy who is an AML survivor, acute myeloid leukemia. I had the chance to stay over in a cabin at the event, and he was one of my roomies. So we had a really long conversation, which was awesome. And I'm not really sure what your question was or if there was one, but I could just keep talking if you want. I don't know.
That is fine. That's what we do, right? That's why, like, it's completely unscripted. My light is acting crazy, you know, and I'm trying to like
Hey, why
sit
not?
still a little bit. I don't know why. It's just it's flickering. It's driving me nuts. I think that's a little better. Okay, there we go. Yeah, no, like I just feel like, you know,
Oh, I know.
storytelling.
Wait. I didn't finish. I was saying how proud I was of you. And then somehow I
Okay.
started talking about Trevor. You're like,
Well, I
okay,
love
sorry,
Trevor. Trevor
I'll let
is
you keep talking.
amazing.
Yes, Trevor is amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, you have done so much. You created Blue Couch Chat since we met with the inspiration of Lee. And we did that celebration of life for Lee together. That was so incredible. I had never been.
Celebration of living, because he was still living, which was
Oh,
amazing.
what did I say?
Life, but I mean, it was
It was
life, but
different.
it was a celebration of him living, and I think it was.
Yes, I
I don't
agree.
think I can ever top that first episode with
Mm,
the amount of support I got for that first episode. Like, it really set the tone for the rest of Blue Couch Chat. Like,
yeah.
I can't ever top that, and I'm never going to try to top that. And it was a complete, you know, it was straight from my heart. It was an act of love and friendship, you know, for Lee. And I'm just glad that I was able to do that, and for everyone to be able to tell him how special he is and how much they've inspired him, because he left such a mark on the Podfest community and on the colorectal cancer community. And like, I don't know how Lee had so much time to be Lee for so many people, and how he had so much heart and so much of Lee to give all of that, you
Yeah.
know. And even sometimes in just one interaction, he gave life-changing like words. Like, I mean, the first time I met him, he told me, he was like, you have a story that needs to be shared and a voice that needs to be heard. And he encouraged me to do a podcast. And I was like, no, I really think people need to see what I look like. It's easier to connect via video. And that was before video was even really a thing, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
And it was really more podcasting was the new crazy thing. And I was like, no, I think we should do video. And I was like, and not only that, you already have your podcast, and I don't want to, you know, compete. But without Lee urging me and literally strong arming me by getting me a free ticket 3 years ago, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have the great community that I have. And, you know, and this is my happy place. Like, I look forward to being here, and I'm happy that I've now made the commitment that I'm going to show up. You know, I'm going to show up no matter what. I'm going to push myself to show up. And so, you know, it makes me happy that we're here this evening together. And you know, I do want to ask the audience, what stories have inspired you in your own journey? Drop them in the chat. We may pull up a few to share. So Tim, while we're waiting for people to come in the comments, it's weird because I don't see any comments coming up on our stream, which is weird. Like I'm like wondering, like, are we streaming? But yeah, we're streaming.
Yeah,
But it's weird that it's so quiet, but I guess it's because it's a Saturday.
probably.
And yeah, we usually do this during the week, and it was kind of impromptu. But I know people will catch us on the replays. I know we'll get some comments later on if we don't get them to start coming in now. People are kind of shy and it's like crickets. But I did want you to come on, especially now, to share your story, because one of the special things that you do is that showing up is not just a live stream. It's actually live and in person once a year. And what
Yes.
made you decide to go from digital to bringing your community to life?
So when I created the show, it was in the midst of COVID. And so everybody was at home and doing a lot of live shows and, Zoom things and all sorts of virtual things. And it was sort of starting to come out of COVID to an extent. And I was thinking, how cool would it be if I could bring together cancer patients and survivors from wherever. The first year, somebody even came from Canada. Asha came all the way from Canada, and he was incredible. He let us use his sound system because the sound system at the venue turned out to be not so great. And he had his microphones and his amplifiers, and he was like, "Hey, you want to use this? Here you go." So shout out to Ashik.
Shout out.
Yeah. But really the impetus was just us all being, stuck at home for so long. And I thought it would be really special to be able to bring together the cancer community in person.
Mm-hmm.
And the first year we did it in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, which is about 45 minutes from where I live. And the next year we did it in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
That was
And
my first one.
yeah, Shannon's first one. And then then last year it was in New York City. And
Which was
then this
cool.
year, yeah, New York City was fun. And then this year it's going to be in Garrison, New York, a little bit over an hour outside of New York City. And I'm really excited. It's going to be at a retreat center. So people can stay at the retreat center or they can stay where they want. But a bunch of people are going to stay at the retreat center. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's in the mountains. It's like fall foliage time. Here, the colors are already starting to change, which is really early.
Nice. That is nice, though.
So it should be really pretty. And it's going to be really great. It's just like the biggest advantage to coming is the connections that you're going to make with other people that are going to become your friends or collaborators or whatever it is, you're going to leave with a whole other family that you didn't have before.
For
right?
sure.
Shannon.
For sure.
No, this way. Shannon. Rafam, right?
The other way.
Oh, you have that.
You're the wrong way.
Do a screenshot.
You're that
You have to do a screenshot. I haven't done a screenshot in so long. Let us know in the comments if you're a fan of screenshots. I have a mug that says screenshots last forever.
They kind of
Okay,
do.
ready? You got to put your animal this way over where the door is.
So I do have to say that one thing that I love about your event is that it's not a conference. It's not quite a retreat. It's something in between because you get a lot of knowledge without it being all sciencey. You get a lot of mentorship and, hearing, a lot of people there are navigating their own journeys, like, Russ and, Zach being there so that he could support Lee, and be a good friend and know how to show up for him. And, everybody who shows up for you because you've built such a great community and showing up family, that it's really different. And so I'm urging anyone who's really thinking about it, who can be there, to really come, because I've been to so many conferences over the years, and I've been to little retreats as well. And what Tim has created is so special. I mean, where else do you have screaming chickens and you pass the hot chicken? That's what we play. Like, who plays hot potato hot chicken? Only Tim. So, Tim brings the fun, and we laugh, we cry, and we do everything in between. And it's really, and we make great friends and great bonds, and we really support each other. And what you've created is just so beautiful, because you take this show where you have people supporting you virtually, and then, and especially coming in as your co-host, the second time, it was so different, because I was like, oh my God, everybody in this room loves me so much. And it felt so weird because I like never really met them, some of them, and it was just really cool.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest parts about the event is seeing people that have either been guests on the show or have watched the show, or they've been published in one of the books, or whatever it is, whatever their connection is to showing up or cancer. Like, seeing them build relationships online during the year, and then actually seeing them like meet together for the first time and like giving each other like the biggest hugs, and they have like the biggest smiles, and they're just so happy. That's like makes the whole thing worthwhile for me, is just seeing that,
Right.
those connections, those
Yeah.
friendships made,
It's crazy, because a lot of people don't understand how we form these great bonds virtually, and they don't understand how we form these great bonds in such a short amount of time. But it's not really a trauma bond, because each person's trauma is individual when it comes to cancer, but we do get the trauma of each other, and it's a healthy relationship, because it's really one of support. It's not one of being interdependent or codependent. It's literally walking together, and when one person is struggling, you're helping them walk, and when you struggle, they come back and they help you walk, and sometimes when you don't even expect it. So it's really, really special to see that happen, every year, and I'm really hoping that I can make it this year.
Me too.
I'm really
And you have a
hoping.
GoFundMe going on. You have a GoFundMe.
Yes, you created it for me, and I feel really loved, and it makes me realize how much you want me to be there, and I really appreciate you setting that up for me, because I am going through some hardships, financial, emotional, all of it. Life is lifing. Life is lifing, and I'm trying to keep on smiling, but life is lifing right now. But I do want to know, like, what do you hope your future events will look like? How do you want the event to grow?
So it's a hard question for me, because I really like the events being more intimate. Like, I don't want it one day to be like 1,000 people or anything like that. Because I think having a smaller group, it just gives you more time to bond with all the people that are there.
I agree.
I mean, I would like to grow somewhat. I don't know, maybe like 50 people, or I don't know what, but I really see the focus of it not so, like, the main focus of it is really on story sharing. Speakers share their stories, um, attendees share their stories in small groups, and it's like, it's those opportunities that bring us together, that connect
Mhm.
us, right? And
Mhm.
so I see that continuing as the main gist of it. Could there be different elements added? Um, this year, there's going to be some live music by two people, so that's going to be fun. But I don't know. I don't know. Next year is going to be the 5-year anniversary of the event, and so it's going to be special. I'm going to work on it, and the board, and I'm going to be asking people for help for next year. One thing
Mhm.
that I'm not very good at even still is asking people for help, and I need help to grow showing up. So if anybody's interested in volunteering for showing up, we could talk about in like what kind of capacities and things like that later. But if you're like, I really love showing up. The community, you know, I'd love to give back in some sort of way. Please reach out to me because I definitely cannot, you know, I'm not doing it on my own. You are my co-host. I've had other co-hosts. I have Russ Hedge and Andrea Sanchez and Cyan Gates are on the board for Showing Up, which is now a 501c3 nonprofit organization, by the way. So that's new. Yeah, and really my goal is I want to be able to have people, like everybody, to be able to come for free, at least in terms of like the cost for the event, because I know
Mhm.
finances are such a challenge for
Mhm.
patients and survivors and even supporters sometimes. So I really want to figure out fundraising this year so that I hope it'll happen next year, if not the following year, to be able to do that. So that's a little bit.
But I also want to add the Showing Up event is not very small, because who did you have last year as a very special guest? You had Nightbird's brother, which was not, it was the year before.
Years
It was the
ago.
first,
Yeah.
it was the second year. But I
Yeah.
mean, to think that your event was in its second year, you weren't
Mhm.
even a 501c3 yet, and
Yeah.
you had him show up, you had Mitch show up, like that's pretty amazing. That is pretty huge. And so I think you really should give yourself a pat on the back, because your event is bigger than you think it is. Because people have come from all over the country. Last year, you had people who didn't even know you show up, right? In New York
Yeah.
City.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's just you've grown more than I think you realize, and faster than I think you realize. And I mean, now you have sponsors, like you have actual corporate sponsors, like big sponsors. Like you've done a lot of work, Tim. Like it has really come like so far. And like it's like, yeah, you, even when you're offered help, you don't know how to accept it, much less ask for it. So it's like, I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to do, but I figure if Tim needs me and he really needs me, he'll know I'm here and he'll ask me for whatever I can do. And that's why I was like, Tim, let's do a show to promote your event and to share your story, because you've co-hosted so many times, but you've never been guest. And so I was like, this would be the perfect time.
Well, thank you for having me. This is awesome. And yeah, I mean, Showing Up has come a long way. You
It
know,
has.
it
In
started out
a
as this,
really fast time. It's like,
yeah. And it's kind of hard to believe that, you know, I was just thinking earlier about like how long it's been since creating Showing Up.
mhm,
And I didn't actually realize it, but November is actually the 5-year anniversary of the show, because it's the
right.
4-year anniversary, fourth year anniversary of the event. And I was
Mhm.
thinking next year is the anniversary of the show. For
Right.
5 years, you know? That's
Crazy.
crazy. I can't even believe.
And the
Uh,
amount of episodes you've had in those 5 years.
yeah,
You're at
yeah.
episode what number now? 100, and
We're close to 150.
that's what I thought. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. And I do have to say, I'm going to shamelessly plug myself. If you ever want me to be co-host again, I'm always willing. I really miss doing it. Life is kind of settling down
But
now.
you're gonna be doing something new, right?
Yeah, that's on Sundays, and it's going to be pretty interesting. So Greg and I are actually going to we did a show on Wednesday. It was really impromptu. So we met online. I don't even know how we connected, but we
Mhm.
connected, and then we were friends, and then he put out a blast saying that he was looking for somebody to kind of collaborate with and maybe be a co-host, or to maybe help him produce. He wasn't sure what he needed yet. And I was like, I'm more than willing. Like, we're both Jamaican, and it seemed like we would kind of click based on what his posts were about. He's very much into natural medicine and natural healing. He doesn't have cancer, but
Right.
he's had his own health issues, and he helps people who have health issues in natural ways. And I was like, you know what? But he also believes in the science as well. He believes in the balance between Western and Eastern medicine. And so we have a lot in common, right? And so I was like, this seems like a really good fit. And so Wednesday, he said, you know, today's National Suicide Prevention Day. And I was like,
Right.
really? I was like, let's do a show. And it was
Mhm.
like, he was like, what time? And I'm like, let's do it in 2 hours. And so just like tonight, I'm like rushing and putting the graphics together and putting everything together.
Yeah.
And we went live. We had never even like really spoken to each other like that much, you know, before that. But the show ended up being 3 hours. We had so much to talk about on the topic of suicide and mental health. And we had both suffered our own tragedies and struggles from suicide and losing people that we love. And
Right.
so it really made it easy. And it made it was hard to cut the show at an hour or at wherever it was. There was just so much conversation left to have. And you know, mental health is such a big topic for me on Blue Couch Chat. It's not just cancer, it's mental health as well, and the stigma and other things too. So, you know, so it didn't feel right to cut the episode when we both had so much to share of our own traumas and hurts and pains and things that we had gone through. And then losing a loved one, which is like nothing else that I've ever experienced. Those emotions of somebody that you love not wanting to live and not knowing how much you love them and that their life was worth it, you know, and that whatever problem they had probably wouldn't be forever, you know, it wouldn't last forever, and they would have gotten through it, you know, and we would have helped them get through it, whatever it was. And so it's really painful, but I will be doing another show with him on Sunday about suicide and mental health, and we'll have some very special guests. So you'll definitely want to tune in Sunday night. But Tim, I do want to go back to everyone else and let them know how they feel about us collaborating in this way. And maybe it's not necessarily an every week co-hosting, but I definitely think that we collaborate so well together. We're such great friends. You've seen me through so much, and we've seen each other through so much.
Mhm.
And like, you know, things about me that I don't even know. And I just
Sure.
and you know, we've walked through some really dark valleys together, especially mine. You know, and you've gotten me through 100% of the bad days I've had since we've been friends, even from so far. And sometimes it's so hard that, you know, we're so far, because it's like, what we have so much fun via the screen, and so when we're in person we have so much fun, and it's so hard, like our friendship is easy, but the distance is hard, because we know that we could just be enjoying life together and doing crazy things. But you know,
We're
like going to
definitely
the High
both
Line
crazy.
and
Yes.
huh?
We're definitely both crazy. So there's that.
Well, I don't think it's
No, but
crazy. I think that
yeah.
we both know that life needs to be lived, and that if you're on the High Line and you see some water, take your Crocs off and
That's
stomp in the
right.
water,
Yep.
you know?
Just like a kid. Absolutely.
Right. Don't be afraid to be a kid, because sometimes there are things that we didn't experience in childhood that we can actually enjoy even more as adults. There's
Mhm.
this specialness to it. Like for me, sometimes I have ice cream for breakfast, and I'm like, I would not have been able to do this as a kid. Now I'm grown. There's nobody to tell me I can't have my ice cream for breakfast, you know?
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for second breakfast today, I had sour cream and onion potato chips and French onion dip. So,
Yeah.
also we were going to support each other on our health journeys, and I'm not really sure how that's going, but we're living life.
Yeah, I mean, my health journey, I mean, I'm eating so healthy that I'm not eating at all, so go figure.
That I can't say I'm doing that.
I've had no appetite for weeks, and it's been kind of hard, but it's
Yeah.
weird because I don't have any appetite, but sometimes I'm not even thirsty, but yet I have so much energy. It's
Mhm.
weird. I don't know what's going on in my body, but yeah. But like I said, you know, you and I, we've gotten through some stuff together. We're going through some stuff together, you and I. And I know what our friendship means to me and why I call you my bro fam. But what does it mean to you and your survivorship? Like, how has our friendship helped you?
Oh, having a person that understands you in many different ways, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody
How
that, like,
similar we are.
it's very scary. Shannon calls us twins, because we look exactly the same. So
Yes.
yeah.
If I had on
Um,
my goat hat, you would actually think that me and Tim were the same person.
exactly. Yeah, you should have seen us at Podfest. We were wearing our goat hats and our tracksuits, our matching red tracksuits. That was
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yes.
Um, but also just, like being able to call somebody when you're struggling or when you're celebrating. Like today, I can't say what name, but I found out about a sponsorship that most likely is going to come through, which is a corporate sponsorship for showing up, which would be the first one ever. So I had to tell her that. And, like, so both in moments of, like, dark moments, but also moments when you're like, I have to tell somebody. Who am I going to tell? It has to be Shannon.
Kind of like at 5 o'clock this morning when you texted me and you were up and I hadn't slept and I was up and I was like, guess what? And Tim's like, what? And he's kind of like half asleep, tired. And I'm like, yo, this doctor that I've been like following and I'm trying to like stalk and comment and interact and get his attention, like somehow, like I don't know how many thousand followers on Facebook and a couple hundred on Insta. And
Mhm.
that's where I've put my comments to him on and all of that and messages and DMs
Mhm.
and TikTok that I have like maybe 4 posts or like 10 posts and like I'm not really on and I only have like 100 followers. He followed me. Dude has like I don't know how many thousand followers. I think he has like 100,000 followers or something, or 10,000, some crazy number, 10,000 or something followers. He's a
Yeah.
GI doctor. He does a lot of advocacy work as like an influencer and a doctor, which is pretty cool. A lot of advocacy, and he raises a lot of awareness. And I really like admire the work that he does. Dr. Zuri Morel, and he's out in Cali, and I'm totally like a fangirl of him and what he does. And he added me. He followed me, and I go and I check his page, and I'm like, he has 71 followers. I'm the one. I'm the 71. I'm like, that's how many he follows, and I'm like, that's not much. That makes me really special. And I was like, this is huge, Tim. Like, this is huge, because I'm like, and like my next step is like, I want to get him on the show, and then and
Mhm.
then at the same time, at the same moment, I realized that another doctor that he's a researcher that I admire and I've gotten to know through my advocacy work. We've done a lot of interviews together. He's gotten me a lot of opportunities to be on interviews, and panels, and he's really supported me since the day that I met him. Dr. Rogers, like Dr. Rogers reached out to me and he was like, I want to be on Blue Couch Chat. And I'm like, yeah, I have the credit now. Dr. Rogers wants to be on my show. And I'm like, dang, and to have people like that want to come on Blue Couch Chat, or hopefully I'll be able to get them on Blue Couch Chat. So the fact that they follow, and I've had like Colorectal Cancer Alliance is following me and Fights Your C. And I'm like, these are big organizations following my posts and commenting. And I'm like, man, like the impact that I'm making, not thinking about the impact that I even want to make. I'm just doing this just to do it, hoping that somebody will be impacted. So to do it without that intention, but with the intention, if you know what I mean, like the
Yeah.
intention of doing for somebody else, but not necessarily the intention for me, but I'm getting the intention for me because people are supporting me. It's such a weird feeling. Like, I'm sure you get that too.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I think one of the coolest things about doing a show is that you never know who you're impacting, and you may never find out some of the people that you've impacted. But you may someday, maybe 2 years after you start a show or 3 years after you start a show, somebody sends you a direct message or comments or something, and it's like this, like you've made this huge impact on their life
Right,
or whatever it is. But
right.
especially around cancer, because cancer is such, a sensitive topic, and some people don't want to comment. Some people don't want other people to know they have cancer or they have a connection to cancer. So I think that the impact that we can have is really incredible, but many times we don't even know who we are impacting. But in this case, you do, because he followed you. So yay.
Right. It's crazy.
It deserves this. And wait. It deserves this. And it deserves a dead goat sound. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And I do at this moment also when I say Blue Couch Chat is growing. I do have a website, and I am going to share it on the page and my personal page, and all of my socials. But Blue Couch Chat, I built that website in one night because apparently that's what I do. And when I'm getting somewhere with something, I just see it through to the end. I'm like, I can't stop until I finish it, because then I don't want to risk not going back to it. And honestly, I'm really happy with what it gives my energy, and it gives what I want Blue Couch Chat to feel like. And it represents me for sure. There are some minor changes that I will be making, because I do have some stock images that I put in since I did do it in one night. But I actually took my own images now, and I will be sharing them and putting them on the website officially. So there'll be images of me. And I think I'm really excited about it. And I just want to say, to have that website and to be able to have people have a way to contact me other than through social media, and be able to share that website and put that website on other, because having a website is really important when you're trying to do the work that we do. And it does have a link to all the episodes on YouTube as well, and all the social media links are there. So it gives people a landing page now where they can choose how to find me. I can kind of direct them to me rather than just hoping that they'll find me. So it makes a huge difference, to do that. And our friendship, we've gotten through some real authentic messy stuff together. And honestly, Tim, you bring out a side of me that nobody else sees. I'm actually able to be my real authentic silly self with you, whereas normally I try to be so serious, because when you're an adult and you're silly, people don't take you seriously. And I think that that's something that you taught me, is that we need to embrace that silly side, because we fought to be alive. And so we deserve to be silly and to enjoy ourselves, and to go to trampoline parks and go in the High Line and go in the splash pool, and, things like that. And, there's some things that, I don't call it FOMO. I don't know if you know, but I changed that acronym. FOMO doesn't mean fear of missing out for me. It means fully owning my opportunities. And so one of the things that I did was I decided that I was going to paddleboard and I was going to surf, and that was my splash pad on the High Line. And, my thing, that was just something that I was like, I'm no longer going to be scared of doing this, because I beat cancer. What am I scared of? If this is something I want to experience, I'm going to experience it. And, really, really owning moments, fully owning moments. And I think that's really important. So, like I said, our friendship is really messy and authentic, but so's the communities that we both built. They're real, they're authentic, and they're messy as well. And you've created a safe place, just like I have, for people to really be themselves, like for me to be myself, and everybody else who you're around, you make them feel safe to just be vulnerable and be real and be silly, and but I do want to say, why do you think that that's so, the real authentic messy community? I know why I created this, but why do you think that it's so necessary for both patients and caregivers to have that space?
Because it connects us as real human beings, our real stories, not the shiny ones on social media where everybody on LinkedIn is announcing their accomplishments or whatever, but they're stories of adversity where they went through some really dark times and then they rose up and then this happened. Or maybe they're still stuck in that dark time and they need some help to get out of that, so they ask for help. Or maybe they don't ask for help, but they share their story and people reach out anyway to lend their support. and love and caring. Um, so I think that's why it's so important to be vulnerable on social media, and you don't have to share everything at once. You don't have to share everything ever, but share what you want, you know, share what you're comfortable with. And it's going to make other people uncomfortable. It's going to make probably the closest people in your life the most uncomfortable, just so you know. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
But it will change your life in many different ways, in
I
many wonderful ways. What do you think?
I I feel that our community, I mean the showing up community, the and family, the Blue Couch chat fam, like it's changed me. Like I feel like I'm being on camera, I'm more confident than I used to be. I'm not as insecure and scared of things as I used to be. I mean, like we literally jumped on and were like, let's go live. You know, like normally we'd have a little like I'd get my anxiety medication and whatever. And this tonight we're like, there's no time for that. Let's go live. Like Tim was like, let's go, Shannon, let's go. You know, and so
I'm
that's
so patient, so patient. You're welcome.
yes, and you know, but I think that's the beauty of it, that you got me to the point where I could do that tonight. Like I literally put the graphic together and all of that in less than half an hour.
That's awesome.
And we got live, you know, and sent you the link, like, and we got live. And I'm like, you know, so I'm getting better and faster at it. I don't really want to be doing it last minute all the time like I've been doing
Yeah.
lately, but at least I know I can do it, you know, quickly. And so I'm getting better at things. And, you know, I'm really excited about that. And I feel like it's important for people, you know, the reason why I created Blue Couch Chat and I want it to be real, authentic, and messy, and, you know, have people have a safe place to be vulnerable. Yes, we're live, but you can still be vulnerable. Like I never thought that I would share about my cancer journey on LinkedIn. I never thought that I would have a page about cancer on LinkedIn and share my personal cancer journey on a professional platform.
Yeah.
But I did. And it has been a game changer for me. And, you know, and it's transformed my life. And then it's also like, you know, I created this space because I realized that there's so many people in the colorectal cancer community where it's like we have to fight to have our voices heard. And so Lee, I don't know how he knew when he said that to me. Like it really resonated, like when I was experiencing it, you know, it because you have to apply to have to be a, you know, a representative of organizations. You have to apply to be in like a magazine, or, you know, or you have to be like a special favorite person to be in a newspaper article, you know, for them to recommend you and refer you. And a lot of times if you're not stage 4, you're made to feel like your story doesn't matter. Or if you're no longer an active patient, your story doesn't matter. And I think that it's quite the opposite. I feel that the organizations who focus on those stage 4 money, those stage 4 stories, I know that that's what gets the money a lot of times, you know, because that's how you get research is, hey, these young people are dying. But you know what? What really transformed my entire journey was that the night before my first chemo, I was doing some research and I came across this young lady's blog, and she was diagnosed, you know, a little bit, you know, more longer before me, but she was diagnosed at almost the same age as me, very young, and she was fit and everything. And she blogged her entire journey. And I digested her entire blog in one night, and it gave me hope, you know, it gave me hope to see somebody surviving for that long. And so that's why I feel that, you know, like Lee said, I have a story that needs to be shared and a voice that needs to be heard. Everybody else does too. And so I created this platform, not necessarily for me, because I haven't even shared my story yet. And I'm how many episodes in, right? But I will when I feel the time is right, and I will find a creative way to do it, because I don't want to just be sitting here telling my story. I want to do something different, right? It will impact people. And the other thing about it is I want people to have a space where they can just say, Shannon, I want to be on your show. And we make it happen. Because guess what? If I have to have 365 episodes for the year or 1,000 episodes for the year, if I have to do 3 a day, I'll do 3 a day to make sure everybody's story is heard. Because it's
Right.
important. Because every story is going to touch someone. And every person is going to be able to help someone. And it's so important, and everybody's story is worthy. And I don't think that anybody should ever feel that their journey isn't hard enough to be recognized or glorified. I think even if you're stage 0 as a colon cancer survivor or any cancer, if your cancer was caught early, you know what? We fought for you to have that where you're young and you're able to get a colonoscopy early because of your symptoms, because your doctor knew that this is happening more and you weren't brushed off. Like, that's a success for us who have been diagnosed at later stages, is to have somebody come and say, I was diagnosed at stage 0 because I knew what the symptoms were. And I needed to go and get a colonoscopy because I reached out to someone and they're like, you need to get a colonoscopy, online. And I've
Right.
had those instances even, in my own journey, where people have come up to me and been like, so you had colon cancer, like what were the symptoms that you're experiencing? And I told them, and they're like, I'm having those symptoms. And I'm like, you need to get a colonoscopy. And they'd be in their 20s and have a huge polyp. And they took it out and it wasn't even a stage 0. That's a success. That's
Right.
a major success right there. But it's also a success is having my best friend, my other bestie, Yuli, who's diagnosed stage 4, and helping him through 7 years of his 8-year journey. I met him 1 year in, he didn't know anybody else. And seeing him go from a patient who didn't know about his disease and didn't know that he could advocate for himself to becoming an advocate, sharing his story on stages, going around the country, sharing his story, asking his doctor questions, making medical decisions, feeling empowered, and also giving him support. And yeah, unfortunately, I lost Yuli in December, as you know, and you know how hard that has been for me, because he was my other Tim. It was Tim and Yuli. Those were my bro fams. Like they know me, they get me more than anybody else, and it's been hard. And and although I lost him, it's still a success because Yuli, I never got when he told me when he was alive. He would tell me all the time, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you. And I never really knew what he meant until he passed away. And when I realized, like, when he needed a clinical trial, I found one and he took it to his doctor, and his doctor ended up putting on that clinical trial that I found and suggested. And I'm not blowing my own horn here, but this is why it's so important to have the community, is because we're able to support each other, because I had already been through my journey. And so I could take that knowledge that I had learned and that learning curve that I had learned, and I could just pass it to him. So he already was ahead of the game, and he had everything that I had learned through my advocacy and my own journey as tools. And we were able to use those tools to extend his life. And I never realized that I really did do that for him, because he probably would have given up, and he probably would have thought that there were no more options. And, he thought, a lot of us think that a clinical trial is an end of life thing, but sometimes you can be on a clinical trial while your cancer is stable to see if that drug will work for you, right? And that's actually the perfect time to do it, rather than waiting until you don't have any other options. So, and I believe in research, and I believe in clinical trials, and I believe that that's the only way that we're going to advance, is if we take part. And so even as a survivor, I take part in research studies all the time to give back and try to get people to have better treatments and better diagnostic tools than what I had, and what I went through. But that's why I feel that this community is so important. That's why I feel like having a safe place to come and talk about your ish is important.
Yes.
And just being there for each other and getting each other through our ish, and sometimes we'll both be an ish, but we'll walk through the ish together, and sometimes we manage to laugh through it, cry through it, scream through it, yell through it, curse through it, but we get through it. And honestly, Tim, there's so many things that I would not have been able to get through if it wasn't for you. And sometimes you don't even know, sometimes there are days where you don't even know where I get up and I show up for myself because I have you in my life. And I'm really grateful for you. You know, I'm really, really grateful that God put you in my life, that Lee put you in my life, that Podfest put you in my life. That unfortunately we had to have cancer, but you know, you make it worth it.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I just love you, and you know, you really get me, and I just don't know how we're so alike. It's crazy because, like I said, like you bring out this side of me that I didn't even know I had, and that
You know
I've
what,
come to
though?
love.
Do you know
Huh?
what? Do you have a
Like
mushroom pen? Do you have one of
I don't
these?
know.
You should
The
get a
only
mushroom pen. Do you know why? Because they jiggle like this.
they look like it looks like a jellyfish. I love jellyfish.
Oh, maybe that's probably what it is. It's a jellyfish, not a mushroom. See, because it has this little whatever. See, jellyfish. I
It's
bet
a
you guys
mushroom with
get a
spines.
jellyfish pen today. So
It's a spiny mushroom.
a spiny mushroom or a
It's a
jellyfish.
leggy mushroom. It has leggies. It's leggies.
Let us know in the comments. Do you think what should we call this? Should we call it a spiny mushroom or a jellyfish or a
Or a
what?
psychedelic mushroom or a psychedelic jellyfish.
Yeah, or a psychedelic, whatever. Fill in the blank. Yes, let us know in the chat, live or on the replay. We want to know. This is important.
And I do want to also ask you, Tim, like, what advice would you give someone watching right now who feels completely alone in their journey, like I did when I was going through, and I'm sure you did too before you shared and found that you had all this support? Like, what advice would you give to somebody who feels like that? Like, because there's so many people who feel like there's nobody else who gets it, and they don't
Yeah,
know that there's a whole family and community waiting for them.
I would say reach out to me or Shannon. You can talk to people and not share it publicly if you don't want to do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So just reach
Mm-hmm.
out to maybe other cancer patients or survivors,
Right.
um, or family or friends if you're comfortable doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Just whoever start out with one person, see how that goes.
And I do
Yeah,
want to also say, because I know what it's like being a young survivor, and I'm sure you felt like this too, Tim, that
I
if
was
we shared
one too.
that if we shared our cancer story publicly, it might affect our opportunities career wise. And so I do want to say one thing that I am willing to do on Blue Couch Chat is to have you come on and you can share your story. And this also works if you're not comfortable being on video. I do want you to know that you now have the option to say, I want to do a call in episode. And I can have you with either a picture of yourself, or if you don't want anybody to know who you are, we can do a cartoon avatar and we can use a moniker, and nobody has to know who you are. And you will be able to share your story that way anonymously. But even if it's anonymous, your story is still worthy of being shared. And you shouldn't have to not share your story and take part in this wonderful. I mean, Tim, that first time when I shared my story at your live event, like that was my first time being on like a live stream. Like I'd been on like panels and professional stuff, but that was
Yeah,
my first time being on like an impromptu live stream where things are just raw and real and gritty. And
yeah.
you made me feel so safe in a room packed with people and not knowing how many people were watching online and even on LinkedIn. And
Mhm.
I really was vulnerable and I really was transparent, and I opened up about things that I had never been public about before. And you just have a way of doing that. And so I want to be able to do that for people too, because you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. After I did it, it was so freeing. It was
Mm,
so freeing. It was like I had finally let go of something that was just stuck here wanting
yeah,
to get out, and I wasn't letting it out, and it was like I just finally was just like let it out, and it was gone, and I didn't have to hold it
yeah,
anymore. And it was such a really good feeling, and I think that's why it's really important that people know that we're willing to find creative ways for them to be able to share their story and feel safe, even if they're not willing, ready to be on screen, or they're not ready to have their name
yeah,
shared. Like I'm fine with you coming on and being anonymous if that's what makes you feel good, and that's what will make you get that story out. Because when you get that story out, even if you do it anonymously, like, that's why my name on Facebook is Shan Lee, is because I didn't want employers coming on and seeing my real name So it is technically part of my real name. As you can see, it's Shannon Lee Sin, so it was Shan Lee. But that was my way of staying anonymous in a way, but still being findable. And then when they really decided, oh, I'm going to be in a magazine that's going to be distributed like worldwide and nationwide, and I'm like, I need to use my real name so people could find me. That was a freeing moment too. When I said, I'm going to just out myself with my cancer, it was such a freeing moment. And I want to take this moment to say that it doesn't have to be just cancer. Like what I shared with Tim and I was vulnerable about had nothing to do with cancer. And it was totally freeing. Sometimes we have things that aren't even cancer related that we're holding in and we're hiding from those around us and those who love us and those who would actually love us through and help us get through it. And we choose to carry it alone. And it becomes such a burden sometimes that it actually weighs you down mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically. And so I want people to have a safe place to share whatever it is. You know, it doesn't have to be just cancer. This is a place for your mental health as well. And so it's a place to share anything. You know, like this week I shared about my own mental health struggles and other traumas that I've been through, you know, and it's still necessary for people to have a place to erase stigmas and to talk about whatever it is that they've gotten through, because even if it's not cancer related, there's still somebody in the community who's gone through that and needs that support and needs that story. And we just never know that although it's not cancer related, it's still going to help somebody. And you know, so I think it's really important that we are in this space. And as you know, you can reach me here on Blue Couch Chat. You can reach Tim on Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer on all social media. And you can message us and we are here for you. Like, that's why we're here. That's why we created the space. And when I say we're here, like, I mean, I will walk by your side if you want me to. I will talk to you every day if you want me to. And you know what? It helps me too, because I get lonely, so it's kind of nice to have somebody to talk to all the time, which is why I love Tim, and that's why our friendship works. But I want to take another moment, since we spoke about how special our friendship is. I want our family to tell us who's their bruh fam. Who's that supporter? And you don't have to have cancer to have a bro fan, but who's that one person where you want to call them through the ups and the downs and the everything in between? Who's that for you? Please put that in the comments. Like, I know for Zach that was Lee, and I know for Lee that was Zach, and for me it was you and it was Yuli, and now I have my girl Zen, she's like the female version of you for me. And I love her, and so I just feel like it's so important to have that support and to have people who know what you've gone through, even if it's not the same cancer. Like you and I, we didn't even have the same cancer, but we get it.
Yeah, exactly. And I also feel like it's like, I don't know, like I feel like I jive with people that or like I feel like people get me, that are like people who are like empathetic, that can, no matter what they've been through, maybe they haven't been through cancer, but they've been through something else. Maybe it was like childhood trauma, or maybe it was, and it doesn't have to be a traumatic thing, but just like, do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in this world has a struggle.
Yeah.
And even when we think, like there's this song that I've played, by Son, who's Chadwick Boseman's wife, Simone, well, his widow, Simone. That's her stage name is Son. But she sings this song and she says, check on your strong friends. And, like, yes, I'm smiling on camera right now and I'm lighthearted and I'm fine, or I seem fine. But honestly, I'm smiling and I'm faking it till I make it right now. I'm going through really hard struggles. Tim knows about what I'm going through, and those close to me. But I've been struggling very hard and really hard, and, going through some really hard stuff, and going through a bit of a heartbreak and heartache, and just feeling betrayed and let down and lied to, but still loving that person and able to forgive them without them even apologizing. And it's just a weird place to be in, because I should be angry. I have a right to be angry. And, and for some reason I can't get to that place. And I feel like, Tim, I feel like it's hard to get over somebody without being angry. And that's my struggle, is because
Mm,
since my cancer, anger is an emotion that makes me physically ill. And
mm,
stress is an emotion that gets me physically ill and puts me in the hospital. So it's like I have to find a way to get through these things without the anger that I need to get through it, and the hatred and the venom. And I can't. And so I keep coming from a place of empathy and compassion and understanding what this person was probably going through and how much they were hurting, and hurt people, and that, he has a part of him that he feels that he can't share, but it would have been safe with me if he had shared it, and I would have accepted him for who he is, because
mm,
I've learned to be an accepting person, because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And we're made the way that God makes us. And everybody deserves to be loved for who they are.
mm,
And it hurts me that he took away my opportunity to show him what that love looks like, what that acceptance looks like. He took away that opportunity for me to love him the way that he should be loved, that would probably even heal him from his own struggles in a way. Because
mm,
sometimes acceptance, when somebody finds something out about you that you feel you should be ashamed of, and them accepting you and them being willing to be with you still and love you still, right? Because that's part of who you are and you're still a beautiful person. Sometimes that acceptance of somebody saying, I understand what you're going through and I accept you as that. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean I don't want to love you. Sometimes that's what we need to heal. So in a way, he also took away his own opportunity to possibly heal, because he took away that opportunity for me to love him through it. And that's what really hurts me, is that we both lost that opportunity to be that for each other. I mean, we both struggle with PTSD. We both struggle with mental health stuff. We both struggle with anxiety. Like, we really get each other on that, although he didn't have cancer, but we got each other on the mental health stuff, and I was willing to help him through it. And I was there, and it hurts me that he didn't feel safe enough to tell me something that was so, that's a part of him, and he's still worthy of love. It doesn't change anything for me. But he took away that opportunity for me to be that person that he really needs. And he took away that opportunity of having that for himself, because he lied to me and he hid it from me. And so when I did find out, I felt betrayed, you know, and I felt lied to, and I felt like I didn't know him. And I felt like, what did I love you for? What did I show you all that love for if you didn't feel safe enough? Then I failed you. If you felt that you couldn't share that with me, but you shared everything else, and I was there, and I never, like, Tim, like, everybody else was like, run, girl, run. And I was like, no, like, everybody deserves love. And if you have like a mental illness, or you have like PTSD, that's not a reason for me to run, because I have PTSD. I have complex PTSD. So does that mean that somebody should run from loving me? Does it make me less worthy of love? No. And so, I want people to know that sometimes you might be scared to share something about you. Like on Wednesday, I shared publicly what I've been through in terms of sexual assault. You know, I've actually been able to say I was raped. I had my virginity taken from me. It wasn't violent, but it was forceful, and it changed my life, and it changed me in a lot of ways. And I was only 17, and it happened again when I was 18. It happened again in my 20s, and it caused a lot of trauma, and I still have a lot of pain from it. And it took away that person that I could have been now. It took that away. It forever changed me, just like cancer did. So I've had so much of who I could have really been taken from me. I don't know who I would have really been if it wasn't for these things happening. But I've learned to accept that who I am today, I'm a great person who is really resilient and really strong, just like you are, Tim.
mhm.
And these things are a part of me, and that I need to be proud of them and not ashamed. And I want everyone to know that there is somebody for you who will accept you and love you for who you are, no matter what, even when you can't love yourself because of it. And so when you don't share that with somebody, you take away their opportunity to love you through it, and you take away your own opportunity to be loved for who you are and to have that acceptance, which is really healing and really freeing. And to be able to share something that's there, that's right there, to have that person like you were for me that day, Tim, to be able to let that out and for it to go. And that I can now talk about it on video when I couldn't talk about it before. I carried it alone for decades. I'm now willing and able to say it and talk about it, and without even crying. Is how free I am, is that I can talk about these things and say, you know what? I'm not going to be angry because these things shaped me into who I am today. And I'm probably an even better person than who I would have been if they didn't happen. And I love myself more because I've shown my own strength and resilience in getting through these things being so young, and now being able to talk about these things so freely that before I was so ashamed of when I shouldn't have been. And that shame is so heavy. You know, when you're carrying something that you're ashamed of, that you shouldn't even be ashamed of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you have 3 arms, God made you that way. There's no reason for you to be ashamed that you have 3 arms. In fact, that makes you special. You know what I mean? That means you can juggle more balls if you're juggling. You can juggle more bowling pins. You know what I mean? You can do more things. I mean, everything, even when you think that it's something that you should be ashamed of, makes you unique, makes you special, and makes you who you are, and makes you even more lovable because it makes you different. And so, like, I want to share that. Like, I want to share that this is a place of acceptance. This is a place of safety. Both of our shows, our spaces, and, you know, even ourselves as individuals are people where you don't have to feel like you can't share. Like, Tim, I have shared so many things with you that I never thought I would ever share with anyone. You know, and sometimes I'm probably like, that's probably TMI, you know, but, and sometimes Tim will be like, TMI, you know,
Exactly. Yep.
but
That's true.
even when it's TMI, it's getting that out there and then letting it go, and you don't have to keep going over the TMI and keeping the TMI in here. So,
That's
say
true. Yeah. I don't know. I just think vulnerability is just awesome.
I think when we get over it, like, you know, like when I got over that fear of being on the camera for the first time.
Yeah.
And my first interview was like actually on like the local news here in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even have time to prepare because this organization called me and were like, hey, this news station is looking for an interview. You know, they're looking for a guest. Would you be willing to be on? It was right after Chadwick Boseman died. You can see it on the YouTube page. It's on there. But, you know, it was huge. And it's like this, it was a really big platform. I didn't know what to expect. I had to I was working, and while I was working, I had somebody doing my hair and my makeup so I could be there. Because I was like, okay, when's the episode? And I'm thinking it's like the next day or 2 days later. And they're like, oh, it's tonight at 7. And I'm like, it's like 4:00 right now, you know?
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was one of those, and I just had to be ready. But after I got through that fear of it, and the more that I do this, the more that I share those things that I carried for so long by myself, that I
Mm-hmm.
carried, and they caused me pain, and they caused me to be somebody that I wasn't supposed to be, and affected my mental health negatively.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to talk about it so freely. And it's actually so good for my mental health to be able to say, yes, this happened to me, but it made me a better person. It made me love myself more. When before I hated myself for it when I shouldn't have. It's such
Mm-hmm.
a freeing moment, that transition. And that it literally happens that first time you share it. It's literally like the minute you step off of the elevator and you see like the great blue sea in front of you, you're like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. That's how it feels. Like it feels like you're in this box, and the box just goes and you're just free. And the box is gone forever. Like that's how it really feels, you know? And
Yeah.
I think it's important that we have that space, you know, and that we have a person that we can be that with. And I'm grateful that you're my person for that, Tim. And I'm grateful that you created the space that you did for everyone, and that you're that person for everyone around you. because I'm not the only one that you're there for, and I don't know how you manage to really be Tim Sohn for so many people, but you are. And I love you very much, and I really appreciate you, and I'm so grateful for our friendship. And I actually, because we're so used to co-hosting together, I'm gonna just leave you on even through the outro and wrapping up. So before I do start to wrap up and go to the outro, is there anything else you want to say? I know you want to blast the event again, so I want you to do that.
Yeah.
Tell them the dates, the times, how to register, all of that. In fact, I think you have access where you can put the ticker up.
I don't have access because I just I'm not logged in right now.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to put a ticker up for you?
Yeah, if you want to, that would be awesome.
Where they can register for the event?
Yeah, people, y'all can go to perspectivesoncancer.com to find the link to register for the event.
Hold on. It is www.
Yeah.
Let's do this right.
Perspective.
I want to make sure I don't have any typos, and I did see. So that's the fun of neuropathy. Perspectivesofcancer.com. That's right. I'm such a bad co-host. You see that? That's why I failed.
That's why you're not co-host anymore, because you couldn't spell. That's why. So now you guys know why she's not co-host anymore, because of her lack of spelling abilities.
Yes, and I'm really bad at navigating StreamYard. Like, Tim is such a pro at it. Like, when Tim co-hosts for me, like, he makes it so easy. Like, in my first episode, Tim, oh my God, like, you really got me through that first episode, and I was so grateful for you offering to be there with me. And even through some other difficult topics that I wanted to talk about, you offered to be on there with me. Yeah. And I'm just really grateful for you supporting me the way that you have, not just, behind the scenes, but in front of the scenes as well. I am really grateful. And so, one thing that Tim is for me is he's a glimmer. I say he's a sugar in my lemonade. Like, life gave me lemons, and then came Tim, and it was like the sugar. And all my other friends that I've made because of cancer, they're my sugar. They help me make that lemonade out of life's lemons. And I'm just really grateful for that. Like, sometimes out of the worst things that we think could happen to us, some of the best things and the best people come out of it, and the best friendships and experiences. And you never really expect it, until it happens. And you're like, oh my God, look what this thing has given me. Like, if I didn't have cancer, I wouldn't have Tim as my friend. If I didn't go to Podfest because of Lee, who I knew because of cancer, I wouldn't know Tim. So,
and I wouldn't have gone to Podfest if Zach didn't tell me. Zach Demopoulos didn't tell me about Podfest. And Zach is best friends with Lee. And Lee, Shannon, convinced Shannon to go to Podfest. So it's this big circle of people somehow connecting and convincing each other to go to Podfest, and everything went from there. So
I think it's funny how cancer and live streaming and Podfest created two pairs of really great friends. I think there's something really beautiful in that, and that those, and the fact that it's like we're like the offspring of Zach and Lee, like, and I say that respectfully, but like,
I never thought of it that way before.
They did have like a little bromance going. It was like they were such great friends. Like their friendship was so special, and their bond. And when I met Zach, I was in the same group as him, and he was talking about his friend. And he was talking about Lee, who's one of my closest friends, who I've known. He's one of the first people I met. And he's been so impactful on me. Like, I wouldn't be here right now, or with like knowing Tim, if it wasn't for him. Like, to find out that this amazing man and this amazing friend, he's talking about Lee. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm so glad that Lee has him. And I'm so glad that someone as awesome as Zach has someone as awesome as Lee. Like, it was just so great to see that two awesome people were friends. And then I'm grateful for them for making our friendship, and so our friendship and everything that we do is really in honor. I'm not going to say in memory of, it's in honor of Lee, You know, every episode we do is because of him and Zach, you know, and
Yeah.
I think it's
And
really cool.
yeah, and also, which is really crazy, is at the first showing up event, which I didn't even know Shannon yet, Zach came to that event, and Zach in our small groups was talking about Lee, which is
Mhm.
really crazy. And that was even before I met Shannon and everything since then. So it's
Right.
pretty crazy.
It's like, yeah, you and Shannon were meant to meet. Yeah, she was meant to give you a lot of trouble and headaches, you know. But I do want to also say that, like, we really don't know how we're gonna get connected to other people, you know,
Yeah.
so how were you connected with Zach? How did you know Zach?
Oh, I know, because I was producing Rachel Druckenmiller's show,
Okay.
live show called Unmute Yourself, and Zach watched Rachel's show. And then Zach found out about my event through Rachel's show because Rachel had me on as a guest to talk about my story and about my event. Obviously, a very relevant topic for a show called Unmute Yourself.
Right.
And Zach showed up almost every week for Rachel's show when she was doing it weekly or
Wow.
twice a month, whatever it was. Zach was always there, and he was a big commenter. And yeah, we connected through Rachel, and the rest is history. And Zach only he lives in New Jersey. I live in Pennsylvania. We live about an hour and less than a half, probably. We've had lunch
So
a few
jealous.
times. So
Yeah, and
so
I'm actually like really see, I'm really sucky at this production stuff. I forgot to add this
are you
as
gonna put it on the screen? The perspectives on
yeah,
cancer.
I forgot to put
All
it.
right. Woo! Good job.
So
Good job.
I did it.
It.
I did it. And then I'm trying to figure out how to make it not a ticker so that it can be
Oh,
on the
click the
screen.
checkbox.
And now I got it.
Did it.
Yeah, I'm
You even
on
spelled it
it.
right. Woo! Everybody give it up for Shannon. Woo! Yes. Yeah, but it
So
is pretty crazy. Like the whole connection thing. Just it's kind of like
yeah,
a theme with
yeah,
uh like Zach and Lee and me and you and the whole Blue Couch chat and showing up perspectives on cancer. I would say like connection is like the biggest thing about all those things because everything we do brings people together and
mhm,
becomes family. So
for sure. And so I do want to say that we are going to share. I'm going to go, Tim, go ahead and tag me on the like with the registration for the event. So
mhm.
put it on the tag me in Blue Couch chat, and then I'll also share it as well.
I've been
Probably
tagging you in like every
today.
post.
Sorry.
I've been tagging you on like every post.
Oh, I guess it just happens automatically, so I don't even notice. So
Oh,
you're like one of the few people that can tag me, and I don't have to approve it. It just automatically goes on my page.
oh, okay.
So I trust you that much. But not only that, but I'm also gonna put the GoFundMe. So please help me get up there because
Oh yeah,
I
put that on the
really
screen.
I
The link's
don't
in the
I
private chat.
forgot the link. Hold on.
It's in the private chat in StreamYard.
Oh, see, you make things so easy for me. You spoil me.
I
I
got
love
you.
you. I know you always have my back. So I'm actually gonna put go back to banners and banner and that and that and that.
And
Okay, got
that,
it. And that and that and that.
and
And
that,
then sorry. Um
and this.
but I do want to say, please help me to get there. I've really been struggling more than normal lately. I know normally I'm the strong friend, but people have been reaching out to me because they've realized that my posts have changed a bit. And there's some that I'm like, yeah, I kind of overshared too much. Let me just like take this down. But people know me enough to know because as you know, my brand is me. I am my brand, just like you are your brand, and we're just authentic. So what you get on the screen is what you get in person. And how
That's
you
true.
see us on the screen together is how we are in person. In fact, we're even more fun in person
Yeah, we're
and
crazy.
crazier in person.
Crazy fun.
But you know, it's just one of those things where I really need this trip right now. I really need to be around my people who get it, and where I can just be free and let things go. I'm carrying a lot right now, and it's really heavy. It's really heavy. It's really, you know, Tim knows how heavy the stuff I'm carrying is. And I know I'm strong and I can carry it, but I'm tired. I've carried a lot of ish in my life. I'm just tired of ish. You know, I'm kind of running out of toilet paper now. So I kind of need a re-up. I really need a re-up on some
You're
Kleenex.
running out of toilet paper, really?
I am actually. I do need to order
That
some. So
could be a
quite
problem.
literally. Literally and figuratively, I'm running out of toilet paper. I'm really I'm really tired, and I'm really feeling bogged down and weighed down, and I'm really struggling. I'm hanging on with like one finger here some days. And I'm not exaggerating. Tim knows how much I've been struggling, and that's why he did the GoFundMe for me, is because it would be really good for me to make it up there, because my cup needs filling right now. My cup needs filling. I was pouring myself into a cup that was covered, and my cup needs filling. And you know, Tim, you helped me to fill my cup a little bit tonight, a lot actually, and I'm really grateful. But it's been rough.
Thank
It's
you
been a
for
rough
inviting me.
few weeks. No, I'm really glad that you know, you were willing to be on, and that I could support you. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just reshare this episode every couple of days as well, up until the show, to promote it as much as I can. And maybe you and I can do a little promotional video with your
Yeah.
branding that you can put on as a little short, like 2-minute thing, just to talk about the show, and have the rubber chickens and the goats, and, you know, show that we are able to be silly there, and it's not all heavy. You know, it's
And there
not
is
all.
going to be a new size of animal at the next event.
You're going to have a
So,
petting zoo?
oh, a petting zoo. I wonder if there's one nearby. I'll have to investigate that.
We
We might
know
have
you
to go
like
on a
goats. I mean, if
goat.
anything, I can always bring some curry goat.
Is it time
Hash
for the show to end now? On
but
that note, I'm
let's
just
wrap it up. You know, I wish I had known you were gonna wear your goat hat. I would have worn mine too. But I love you, Tim, and I'm really grateful for you for showing up for me tonight. And I'm grateful for you for giving me a reason to show up for myself tonight, and to show up for you. And hopefully I can show up for showing up in person. And show up in
yeah,
person for showing up.
you better.
All of that. But I do want to also I want to end on a note of gratitude. Gratitude for the good, the bad, the ugly, the sweet, the sour. Just
I love
gratitude for it
this.
all, because even the hard things, even the things that have been really, really painful, they have made me me. They've made me stronger. They've made me more grateful. They've made me more compassionate, more empathetic. They've made me love myself more. Um, so I want to close with gratitude, and gratitude for you, gratitude for everyone I've met through the worst things that have happened in my life. You know, just everybody that has been there for me. Everyone who has supported Blue Couch Chat, everyone who has supported showing up, everyone who supported me and Tim when I was on showing up. But I'm just grateful for everyone who has shown up for me, who will show up for me, and who is showing up for me. And Tim, you're one of those people. You're like one of the main people. And I'm just grateful. And I'm grateful for Lee, for giving me your friendship, and giving me the 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 encouragement and the push to do something that was completely out of my comfort zone, that I never saw myself doing, because I'm usually really shy. And I actually, believe it or not, suffer from social anxiety. And people don't believe me. They don't know how long I sit in a parking lot, or how hard it is for me to pack my bag for a trip. But
Yeah.
I do suffer from social anxiety. And so doing this is really out of my comfort zone. But I'm glad that he gave me that encouragement to start this and that inspiration, and that I get to do this in honor of him every week now, or as much as I can show up. I'm going to show up as much as I can show up, because it's also showing up for Lee, and I'm just grateful. And so I do want to say, thank you to everyone who checked in on me when I went quiet. Amanda, I know we don't know each other in person, but you checking on me even yesterday, you have no idea how much that means to me. Marsha checking in on me today. I only met you once. Amanda, I haven't even met you yet. But you ladies checking in on me, even when you're going through your own stuff, I'm really grateful for you. And Tim, I'm grateful for you. You check in on me almost every day. And I'm grateful for you, so thank you for the calls. Thank you for the texts. Thank you for the messages. Thank you for the reminders that I matter. Thank you for making me know that I'm making a difference, and that, I am here for a reason, even when I forget it myself. Thank you for giving me a reason to show up, not just for me, but for all of you as well. And, I've decided that Blue Couch Chat isn't about perfection. And I always said that, but I'm still a perfectionist, as you can see. But, it's not just about perfection. It's about transparency, vulnerability, realness. And it's about just being human. And being human means that we have our imperfections, but we're still perfectly made. And we're still worthy of love from ourselves and those around us. And I want you guys to remember that I don't want you to have days where you don't feel that you're worthy. Everyone is worthy of love, and everyone is worthy of forgiving themselves for things. Everyone is worthy of accepting who they are, because we were made the way that we were made for a reason, and we're unique because of that. And so I want you to, I think that's the message that I want to leave you with tonight, is acceptance and gratitude and forgiveness of others and for yourself. And, recently I acted out of character, and the person isn't willing to forgive me, but I have to at least forgive myself. And I did take accountability, and I did send their mother a text, and I hope that she will give it to them. My message of taking accountability and apologizing and saying this was out of character, but I was hurt and I felt betrayed, but it doesn't make what I did right or what I said right. But I'm now able to forgive myself because I apologized. And so it's up to him whether he wants to take that and forgive me or not. Forgiveness is not on the person who's doing the apologizing, it's on the person who the apology is to. And so I put forth the step for him to forgive me by at least taking accountability for what I did. I'm hoping that he will do the same, and that someday we can at least let go of whatever it is we have caused each other. But I do want to make that note that sometimes we need to be willing to not only accept who we are, but to also take accountability for things that we've done that might have hurt somebody else, and to be willing to apologize, because sometimes an apology is what somebody needs to heal. And sometimes acceptance is what somebody needs to heal. And we never know how one gesture that we do as a person to another person can help that person. And so it's not selfish, it's also selfless. So sometimes you'll see me laughing on here, and sometimes you'll see me crying. And I don't know how I got through tonight without crying, because I've been crying all day. And I've been able to smile through this episode. But sometimes you'll see me crawling when I fall, but I will at least crawl if I can't walk. And I know you guys will pick me up when I am crawling, and you'll help me walk because you've done that. But I will always be honest and transparent. And so even on the days when I am faking it till I make it, I will be honest enough to let you know, yes, I am going through something. Yes, my posts have changed. Yes, you are picking up on something. No, you're not crazy. So, but what I am going through, I will get through. Like, I've gotten through 100% of my bad days. I will get through this bad week or this bad month or whatever this is going to be. However long it's going to take for me to get through it, I will get through it. I am getting through it. I showed up tonight. I am getting through it. And I showed up looking good, and I showed up being myself, and I showed up smiling. And you know what? As much as I care about a person, they're not worth me not being happy, and they're not worth me hurting and they're not worth me carrying them and what they've done. So I have to find a way to let it go without the apology, because I might not get the apology that I gave them. And that's fine. But I'm going to be real. And so I just want y'all to know that, like, I made the commitment, keep showing up. I'm going to take Tim's turn and honor Tim. Keep showing up, not just at your best, but as your real self. And tonight, this helped me. Being on here with Tim helped me through a really hard day and a really hard thing that I'm going through. So sometimes when you show up and you're not even at your best, sometimes that friend makes you be at your best, even from far away and on a screen. And reach out. You don't have to go through things alone. So check in on someone this week. Check on your strong friend, as Sohn says. Be that reminder for them that they're not alone, that they're worthy of love, that they are loved, that someone is there. If you're going through a hard time and you're having certain types of thoughts, please reach out to the suicide prevention hotline, which is 988. You can call or text, and it is an international number. I know it's also in Canada. I don't know what other countries have it. It's 988, but it is 988, and it's available 24/7, and you'll get a professional who will help you through whatever you're going through. So, and I also want you to know, mental illness is nothing different from a physical illness, and there should be no stigma, and you shouldn't be afraid of experiencing it. It's no different from us having cancer or having a cold. And I want people to know that. And so if you are struggling, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Reach out to the person that you can trust and who is a safe place. And that's been Tim for me. So until next time, make sure you remember that this couch will always, always, always have space for you, and will always be a safe space for you, just like showing up is. So until next time, stay real, stay present, stay connected, register for the in-person event. Please donate to the GoFundMe and help me get there. It's really special, and if you would really want me to go there because of what I'm going through, and you'd know that I need my peeps. I really need my peeps right now.
And it's your Cancerversary weekend. We have to celebrate in person.
It will be my 14th year Cancerversary on October 5th, my dad's birthday. Yeah. 14. I can't believe I'm turning 14 all over again. It's crazy. It's crazy when I say I'm a 14-year survivor and I'm only 43. It feels so weird to say that I'm that long out, but I'm still so young. And it really shows you just how real early onset colorectal cancer is. So I'm not going to go into the stats. That's for another time. But
you know what, though? You give people a lot of hope. By both of us showing up, having cancer for so long, or like survivor or patient or both or whatever, like we give people hope by sharing our stories. I've been at places in my journey and I'm like, I've had this for like 18 or 19 years. Like, who's going to want to hear my story? And then I told one person my story who had just been diagnosed with CML that day. And she was like, would you tell me your story? And I said, I was diagnosed with CML, I think it was 15 years ago at that point. And she was like, 15 years? Like, you just gave me so much hope. So we have to keep showing up because we give people hope.
I agree. Like when I hear about 20-something year stage 4 survivors, that gives me hope, and that's actually what got me through that fear of recurrence, was knowing that even if I did have a recurrence and I was stage 4, there are people who are NED at stage 4 or who are able to live long lives at stage 4. And so, it helps. That's why it's so important that we share our stories. And that's why I really created this space for people to share their stories, is because every story is relevant. And even when you're 50 years out, that's even more hope for somebody. You know what I mean? So I hope that when I'm in my 70s, I'll be still doing this. Like as an old man, like, hey, I was diagnosed at 29. I'm a 50-year survivor. Like I want to be that. I want to be that lady. Hopefully, I know how to use whatever technology is out there at this point. But or at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do need to show up, and we do need to keep sharing our stories, because we never know who we're going to give hope to, who we're going to inspire, and
That's right.
whose fears and anxiety we can actually quell by saying, "Hey, I've been here this long. You're not hopeless. You're not going to die necessarily." It's really important. It's really important, because the stories that are being shared are the stories of people passing. And, I was stage 3C colon cancer. I had a 50% chance of living if I didn't take chemo. I did the chemo, it increased my chances a little bit. But, I almost died. I was in sepsis before I was even diagnosed. And I survived that, which is amazing. And then I had a pulmonary embolism. And I survived that, after my surgery. I went through a lot. And I had an ostomy. And then I risked my life and had surgery and I got it reversed. And, and I didn't have any, complications, luckily, despite what my surgeon was saying I would. And what he was afraid of losing me as a patient. But I trusted in God and I trusted in my surgeon, and that's huge. And so, everybody's story is going to give somebody hope, and it's really important, because your story has a purpose, and your voice, it has a purpose. And I want you to know that, like, when you finally share your story after like not sharing it, it feels so good, because you feel like you're helping somebody else. Like, I haven't even shared my my story on Blue Couch Chat yet, but just giving this platform to everybody else that I wish I had
Yeah.
earlier is
Yeah.
amazing, right? So, we never know how we're going to impact others. And Tim, I just want to thank you again for being my friend, for being one of my biggest supporters, my biggest encourager, my biggest support. The person that I can be my real nitty gritty, authentic self with, that I didn't even know who I was. And I really feel like I found myself on the screen. It brought out something in me that I never knew I had. And it was something that Lee saw, but I never saw in myself. And you saw, because you asked me to be co-host. And I was like, you sure? But it's really changed me for the better, and it's really made me love myself more. It's become my happy place when I was so out of my comfort zone. And now,
Yeah.
like, I love this, and it comes so naturally now, a little too naturally, because now we've been on here for 2 hours and it's supposed to be 1 hour. But I do love you, Tim, and I am
I love
really
you.
grateful for you, and I'm really grateful for the showing up space, that you've created that for everybody else, and that you realize that your story needed to be shared, because you are making a huge impact, bigger than you know. You've impacted
Yeah,
me and so many other people.
we both are. And I love
Yeah,
you too. And thank you for having me tonight. And thank you
it's an
for
honor.
all that you do for everybody and all the guests that you have and all the people that you're impacting, even though you don't know. That's important. And I don't know why I said important without a T. I said important, which is really weird. So that must mean it's getting late because I'm talking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for all that you do. And keep showing up. See what I did there? Keep showing up.
Yes, and please help me show up for Tim in
Yes.
person next month. Please show up for me so that I can show up for Tim. Please show up for Tim by coming and registering on the website down
Whole
there.
circle thing. It's a whole thing.
Please show up. However you can show up, please show up. And I really appreciate all of you, and I'm really grateful for all the support that I've gotten from you, Tim, and from everybody who's watched and will be watching. And
Oh, and you
thank
know what?
you. Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry, I'm interrupting you. It's your show, but we're
You
fine.
want to dance?
No, what?
Oh, I think you were gonna dance.
Oh,
Oh.
dance. Dancing sounds fun. But so one of the things that we do at the event is the last thing we do now every year is we have a ceremony at the end where everybody receives their own unique award, and they also receive a crown. And so I got the crowns in the mail. Last year they were silver crowns. This year they're gold crowns. So we're moving on.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Like, I love having you on here. Thank you for showing up for me tonight so that I could show up for you. And I love you, bro. And I just want you to know that I'm glad that I can support you because what you're doing is something that I really believe in and it's really beautiful and really special. And I will always do whatever I can to support you. So I love you and thank you for being on tonight. And thank you for all you've done and all you're doing and all you will do. Because you're stuck with me, kid. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be keeping a headache in your head for the rest of your life.
Call me a kid, so thanks for that. Because I still feel like I'm a kid. So, but then there's also goat kids. So this is going down a whole rabbit hole thing.
But I am grateful for you, Tim. I'm grateful for you being on here tonight. I'm grateful for everyone who's watching and who will watch. And thank you for all you do to support me to do what I do for you. So this is by one of us for all of us. Tim is doing the same thing. And it's just great having him to support each other. And hopefully we'll have more episodes like this in the future because I missed this. So good night. Take care. And I love y'all. Good night. And remember to like, comment, share. Most importantly, please subscribe. Hit the bell so that you get alerts because lately I've been doing a lot of impromptu lives and I will keep doing that a lot. It might even be daily to be announced. I'm now announcing. Wink, wink. It might be daily at times that I will do little lives. So please tap that bell so that you know when I am live and you can interact with me because it's kind of hard to just talk to myself and there's nobody in the comments. So don't make me do that. Please support me, show up. But so tip that bell so that you can show up. Share this so that we can help somebody that you might know that might need this. And share both Blue Couch Chat and Perspectives on Cancer, please. Like, comment, and share, and subscribe to both of our live streams.
And donate to Shannon's GoFundMe, no matter how much, even if it's $1.
Yes, because as Jamaicans say, every mickle mecca muckle. You know that means? Every mickle mecca muckle means that every little bit makes a big thing.
Oh, I like that.
So every dollar can make $100. $100 is made out of dollars, right? $1,000 is made out of dollars, or even 50 cents, or even quarters. It all adds up. So even when you think that you're only giving something, it still adds up, and it still helps me to get there. Makes it easier for me because I really need it, and I really want to be there for Tim too. So I want to be able to show up for me and to show up for
Tim. Need you there at the showing up event. And if for some reason you can't donate, then please hit share and tag your friends.
And also consider it a Cancerversary gift for me.
There you go.
A way for me to go and be able to celebrate with people who really get it. It's been so great being able to celebrate my Cancerversary with you, Tim, every year for the past.
I love it. I love it.
3 years, 2 years, 2 years.
I don't even know. Is it 2? Oh yeah, because you were in Scranton and then New York, and it will be the 3rd year. It will be.
It will be. I'll make it happen, even if I have to walk or crawl. I'll make it. But I love you and I'm grateful for you. And I'm gonna share, and we're gonna keep promoting until the time of the event. All right. I love you. Good night, everybody. I'm grateful for you. Take care.
Love. Bye.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
Good night.
It sounds like it's dying.
Good night, everyone. Oh, we do have a comment. Wait, a comment just. Oh, that's you.
It's me.
Thanks, Tim, for always doing that. You are so amazing. You just make things easy for me, and you make life easier to get through. So thank you for being my surfboard. I appreciate you.
Oh,
and
thanks for having me.
Take care. We'll talk later. I know we'll talk after this. So bye, everyone. Tune in on Sunday. I'll put out the announcements. You've seen it shared on my page by Gregory too. So catch us on Sunday. Support me and and him. All right. Good night.